up front and center, it is time to work on the Cub Cadet. The plate that has the issue is the back plate, which is one with the frame. So everything forward of that, the bumper guard, the hood latch, maybe even the muffler, and the frame that it's attached to on the forward part of the tractor, all has to come off. So that means that bolt, same one on the other side. And we've got this bolt here, another one on top down there, same thing on the other side, as well as we don't need to take those off, because when I take this off, the hood latch will come with it. I need to get all that out of the way so that I can drop the axle off and get in there to work on the piece that is damaged. So what do you say we tear into it? I'll bring you guys back as soon as I've made a little bit of progress. Okay, here's where we're at. We've got just 3 more bolts to take out, and then the front axle will come right out. This whole piece in the front will come off, as well as the axle. I've already got the drag links separated, and I suppose we can go ahead and drop the rest of the stuff that needs to be dropped, huh? Let's see what kind of a crashing mess we can make. That's cast iron axle. Zippo ain't got the muscles that he used to have, you know. So let me get the microphone pointed down at my face so that you guys can hear me, and not in the camera view. It's right there. Right there. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Just the design, I don't get it. The piece of metal that they've got on the outside, let me show you. This piece of metal here is really thick and heavy. Good heavy piece of steel, but looking at it, it is cracked. So I'm going to have to make a weld to go around that and reinforce this side, and the other side, as we know, is destroyed, and that's the part that's kind of oddly stamped into the frame. I'm not exactly sure how they attached it, but we're going to figure all that out. So let's get these other bolts off and watch that axle come crashing down. Hopefully not on Zippo's toes. I should only have to take these 2 bolts here out, and then 1, 2, and 3 bolts. So let me get this out of the way here. Hang on, the strap's keeping it from coming out. It'll be alright. We'll just leave it there. That's a 1/2 inch. Check. 1/2 inch. I'll do it old school if I have to. Let me get the extension. The extendables. Make it a little easier on me. Let me swing that out of the way. Let me get out of your guys. Boy, you guys are just nosy, aren't you? Wanting to be right smack dab in the mix of everything. That's alright. You guys are probably saying, Zippo, it's about time you got on this thing. Well, life happens. But we are getting it. And after this is done, we've got plenty to poo on that needs the head work. But I have a number of house calls I've got to get taken care of in pretty short order. So maybe the Poulon may have to wait for a little bit, but it's okay. That just means that I go down and use the grasshopper. I was going to get the upper one, but we'll do that one in just a minute. And it probably is just going to come crashing down. I'll do my best to keep it from hitting my toes. All it's going to do is bounce all over everywhere. So, okay. Swing this tire out. Wait, come on, tire. Whoa, whoa. How'd that happen? I got it in a bind. your day? Hopefully it's going as marvelously as mine. Yeehaw. One more. Right up here. I'm hoping the axle will just stay in place. Whoops. Well, that's not right. Okay. And it's out. Now let's see if I can lift the whole axle off of there and just bring everything straight out here. If I've got everything unbolted, that's the way it should happen. Did I miss something? Ouch. No. Just go ahead and get these out. Shoulder bolts. The other one over here. Well, there you go, guys, getting in my way again. It all should just pull right out. Why isn't it? Can somebody answer me that question? Because I've got these two brackets off, which means that that bracket is also loose. My issue right now is that the other shoulder bolt is still in place. And that's holding up the works. So let me keep my knees back here far enough where I don't get smacked. Well, do we just have to go through and unbolt that thing? It's not screwed into anything. It isn't. I know it isn't. Because I already took the nut off. Go ahead and there we go. Okay, now we should be able to lift this one up out of the way. There's those two brackets. There's the left bracket, there's the right bracket, so I keep them in order. Shoulder bolt up in the parts bin. This piece should just slide right off just like that. Okay, and I don't know how well it's going to show up. I probably just covered it up. But this is the front plate, and the front plate is split right here, so we have to work on that one. But let's get to the piece. I see what they did. Okay, this back piece is just folded over and then spot welded on either side there. All I should have to do is lift and take that sucker out of there, so. Or just let it drop. I'm glad my feet were out of the way. So we have to repair here. And this is really dented up bad. So I need to reinforce that. So I've still got my work cut out for me. Still got some work to do, so I'm gonna have to heat that up and bend that all straight because it's got it. You guys can't, excuse me, you guys can't even see what I'm talking about here. Here, let me just do it this way. Move the microphone around so you guys can hear me. Can you hear me now? Hi. Okay. See how it's buckled right here? And I don't know if it'll show, but it's pushed in. You can see it pushed in there. Same thing here. It's all pushed in and it's buckled here, so I need to straighten all that out. And it's just got this one little goofy notch in it, and then a spot weld right there. That feels like the only spot weld. There might be one just above it right there, but that's it. But let's just see if you guys can see that. That's the piece that wore out in there. And the steel isn't as thin as I thought it was, but we've also got a pucker right back here. This thing must have just hit something really hard. It's straight over here. I've got some molding to do. I've got to get all this all straightened back out. So I'm going to work on that. We'll see how straight I can get it with a little bit of heat and a little bit of finagling, and then we'll come back after we get this kind of straightened out, and then we'll see how we're going to attack that issue there. What I was hoping I could do was just weld that from the back side, because I thought that piece came off, but it doesn't. So plan B is probably just going to be what was suggested, which is just make a piece of plate steel with the right diameter hole in it, go ahead and remove the rest of that, and put a piece of plate steel and just weld it in on here to take care of that issue. I believe I've got a decent sized piece of plate steel hanging out around here somewhere. I know I do, because I cut a hunk out of it, and I remember cutting a little hunk out of it. But anyway, I'll find it amongst the mess, and we'll get things squared away and ready. So let me commence to hammering and beating on this thing for a little while, and when I get done straightening that front end out, we'll take another look at it and see what it looks like. So until then, which is going to be an instant for you, but it's going to be a little while for me. Well, we're getting some plate steel cut here. Cutting two pieces at 2.5 inches wide. This thing's a little bit slow, but that's alright, as long as it gives me a nice clean straight cut, right? And I know that I could move that fence in further, but I can't move that fence in much further. It'll just bottom out right there. So we'll just let her go ahead and cut, keep her as straight as we can, and we'll come back when it's done. While that annoying cutting noise is going on in the background, I'm going to take a piece of flat stock and come to the front, and I'm just going to use a clamp and try to draw in or draw out these dents on either side using my camp twist clamps. So we'll see how successful that is. It's just our first attempt at getting that straightened out. Get up a little higher, try to work it from the top down. How about that? Stay in place. Start cranking down on it, and hopefully I can get that to straighten out a little bit. I'm also using the bars a little bit of a lever to help pull it out. So we'll drop down a little. Tighten it back down again. Lever it out just a little. Lather, rinse, repeat. Hard to do, even with two hands. Let's try it this way. little bit of good. I'm going to lather, rinse, repeat that on this side. I have to do a little bit more banging in here, but I'll get this up in there and clamp so that when I beat that down, this will hopefully stay still. That's the plan. We'll take a look at it once we get it worked a little bit more. I already got the sides knocked in on both sides. They came in okay. They forced the bottom out a little bit, which is okay. I'd like to have a tighter fit on the axle anyway, so sit tight.